Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you 2 reasons why your manifestations may be backfiring. The first thing is not following your intuition. This is a very important piece of all things spiritual. It is your inner guidance system. It is always there, connected to the entire universe, giving you feedback that you need to hear, that you need to listen to. In today's society, we are all super busy. We are running on autopilot a lot of the time if we're not consciously pulling our attention back to the current moment. And we become unable to detect those little tiny nudges because they're not in your face. They're very subtle. They don't appear how one would assume they would appear, like a voice in your head or from outside of you saying, Elizabeth, don't do this. Elizabeth, choose this path rather than that path. That's not how it works. It is so subtle, there's no emotion attached to it. And if you are like me and a highly anxious person, you get confused between what's your intuition versus what is anxiety. Anxiety and intuition feel very, very different. And anxiety is the fear. It's your fear talking to you, whether your intuition is very quiet, it doesn't have any emotion attached. And that is a big distinction to make note of when you are trying to discern whether it's an intuitive nudge or an anxious nudge or just your ego speaking to you. The best way that I have found to develop intuition, and I have loads and loads of materials on this in my channel, on my website, myspiritualbeginnings.com, so feel free to check that out. But the best way is to everyday practice using self-validating exercises. So if you feel out of touch with your intuition and you're not 100% sure on how to tap in, how to know what it's speaking to you, set aside only 5 minutes a day. That's all you need, and probably less than that, to practice using these self-validating exercises. You need to be able to validate. So putting pencils of different colors in, or pens in a markers, crayons in a bag, picking one out, closing your eyes, and asking your intuition to show you which color did I pick. And understanding. Start learning what it feels like when it is your intuition speaking to you. If you want to get my 5 self-validating exercises, my favorite, I'll post a link in my description. Feel free to check that out and start practicing every single day. So the reason why this pairs with manifestation is because as you are working on the path to get to where you want to go, your intuition is sending you nudges, sending you information on what you need to do. So let's say, for example, you are working on manifesting your dream job, and you're visualizing and you're doing all the things, but you're not using your intuition, or you don't know all of the things coming into your reality, which one you need to choose. Your intuition is the key to uncovering the next step to take. You can't manifest without action, but you can't take the appropriate action if you don't have that intuitive nudge. You might have 2 job offers on the table, but which one do I choose? Which one's in alignment with that slide, that visualization that I've been running? So my number one tip to you is get in tune with your intuition so you are able to make decisions easier, faster, quicker, better, to make sure you're landing where you need to land for that manifestation. And you can use your intuition all day long, every single day, to make good decisions about where you need to go, what you need to do to be in alignment to get your manifestations. All right, trap number 2 that I want to share with you today is ignoring your reflection. Pretty much every single manifestation modality talks about your reflection as a very important piece. Now, I like to think about this in the reality transurfing, the modality by Vadim Zeland perspective, because it talks about this dual mirror. Your reality is a reflection of what's happening on the inside. And when you manifest, when you are able to visualize you actually enter into the other side of that mirror. But there's a time delay. And so you need to be patient, but you need to be doing all the steps to move into that other side of that mirror. And so in order to do that, you need to be taking inventory. What is happening all around me? What is that everything that's showing up that's in my current reality? What is it trying to tell me about my beliefs about myself, my subconscious mind? And when you start taking inventory, you can lock in and start moving your current reality. And so Vadim Zeland talks about how reality works like a film roll. Right now, the scene I'm in right now is currently already written and playing out. Where the power comes to shift your reality is through becoming present, visualizing what you want to happen to help you switch to a new film roll, because you are powerless in the current script, the current film roll. So when I'm taking inventory about what's happening here, let's say I'm at work and I just had a meeting that went really bad and I need to shift into a different reality where this project is going better. So I am going to lock in. I see myself, I see my reality. This is what's happening right now. And lock in what I want it to look like going forward. So I might visualize sitting around a meeting table with my colleagues and having someone in the group or myself like, aha, this is how we get that customer, or this is what we need to get that project in the next phase, whatever the situation is. And so you lock in, you visualize to start moving that reflection, to start changing what you're seeing. And so that's where the power comes in, to change your reflection and making sure that when that reflection is giving you information, you acknowledge it, but you don't get tied into it, because that's the old reality, not the one that you want to maintain. So not putting so much emphasis, so much pressure on yourself to continue the cycle of that reflection, because you want to change that reflection to get to that different lifeline, that different scenario that you're seeing reflected. And if you haven't caught my video on using a spirit guide in manifestation, I think you'll like that. You can get that here. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll catch you next time.